Hi everybody, it's another edition of Coffee Break with John, and today we're going to be talking about how to maintain and organize your pantry and financial well-being. So we have a lot of conversations with our clients about the need for a financial plan, and a financial plan gives us a lot of outputs, but one of those is the listing of different needs, wants, and wishes. When we have this data available to us, we are able to anticipate and plan for different expenses, different liquidity needs as they come up. So how does that apply to a pantry? So for a moment, just visualize all of your assets and your net worth as being stuck in the pantry. And all the different account types that you have, IRAs, SEPs, 401ks, buy 29s, just regular cash accounts, are different canned goods and dry goods inside that pantry. So you're going to organize it in a certain way to give it the best chance and the most efficient chance of success. And what I mean by that is a couple different strategies. Number one is if you have something that's expiring in a couple of months, you're going to want to keep that to the front, because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. If it's in the back, you're probably not going to see it. So how that translates into finances is, let's say you had an RMD for 2020 and you might anticipate some expenses next year. When you open that pantry door, the first thing you want to see is that R&D, the can of tuna that's 2 months from being expired. You don't want to look back in a year from now and say, oh, shucks, I forgot about it, because then there's penalties involved and you had to toss the can of tuna, and to go back to the analogy. The second strategy is you want to group things that are symbiotic together. So, for example, spaghetti and sauce, they go together. So if you have two different types of registrations that coincide or coexist nicely with each other, you're going to want to keep them together. And the example goes back to, if you have a $50,000 tuition bill coming up, let's say for a current school year, and you have an RMD thing to be coming out, and you also have a 529, if you group them together, again, you open the pantry door and you look and you see that you have these two things available for you for withdrawal. And that's how the pantry should be organized, to make it the most efficient as possible and to avoid any additional taxation or just drag that on the portfolio and overall net worth. Next part is just the big picture. You may say to yourself, well, that seems like a lot of work to try to keep that organized. And that's where a financial advisor comes in, or if you were doing it yourself, just keeping it in spreadsheets and just understanding these things as they come up. I will say that if you're playing a hand of poker or a hand of blackjack rather, and you're at 18, you're probably not going to hit, because the expected value, the expected payoff is very low for that, because you're probably going to bust at that point. The same thing goes with your finances. You want to make the most efficient usage of the assets you have to squeeze every last drop of utility out of them. So in conclusion, a couple things. An excellent chef is going to know how to make the ingredients in the pantry into a delicious dish. A superb restaurant manager is going to know how to take an effective inventory management and become as profitable as possible. So what I'm trying to get at is, you're going to want to avoid taxation wherever possible, and pull forward things that are tax advantage. So if you are taking, like let's say, going back to the tuition example, if you do have tuition coming up and you have the 529, they match each other, and that's where you want to pick from. What's in the back of the shelf? The back of the shelf will be things like a variable annuity inside of a cash account, because it's LIFO, or last in first out. These things typically are placed in different, in our universe anyway, is placed in with different inefficient tax strategies. So fixed income is regular income tax. Alternatives usually has a lot of distributions, a lot of tax implications. So if you put them inside of an annuity and leave that in the back of the shelf, it's the last place you draw from, but it still gives you the coverage you need for correlation to be lower than it would be without the inefficient tax status assets. So until next time, thanks again. Bye-bye.